have another heart for you.
So you were talking, Ms. Walsh, about a project that's going on here at Hewitt.
The 7th grade has adopted the Munda watershed, which is in Orange County, New York, as a community service project to advocate for it, to help to clean it up, make sure it stays clean and all. And they did websites that I helped them with the research, and then they created websites that are quite good. And the theme, they had a theme that everybody come up with a slogan, and the theme that won was "A heart and a dream can save a stream." So since tomorrow is Valentine's Day, the 7th grade also made these hearts for us to wear today.
Now we are going to move on to our Black History Month picks for the week, and we are focusing on a theme.
This week I picked books for historical fiction, which is one of my favorite genres. My first history teacher, the best one, my dad, told me, you read historical fiction and then you learn what it was like if you had lived during that time period. Not just dates, but what was it like for the people at that time period. So the 3 that I picked, the first one is Freedom on the Menu, about the Greensboro sit-in, which we all know about before we went in and sat at the lunch counter. But this book is told from the viewpoint of a child who was watching it on television, watched her older brother and sister go to register to vote, to make the signs for equality. And one of the reasons I like it is her name is Connie, that's my sister's name. But it's, you know, all she wants to do is sit at a lunch counter and have a soda. And it's very, very interesting because it's told from what a child saw through this time period and watched the adults doing their part.
And that is by Carol Boston Weatherford. Freedom on the Menu. That's first on our picks.
The next one, actually the next 2 are by the same author, Eliza Carbone, who, this one is called Stealing Freedom, and it is, again, based on a true story. Anne Maria Weems was a slave who lived in the mid-1800s in Maryland, and when she was about 12, her family was sold. And she actually plotted her own escape from slavery to freedom at the age of 12. And she goes on the Underground Railroad and disguises herself as a man, a boy. And very interesting. Eliza does a lot of very good research and background on all of her books. And this just fascinates because, again, it's based on a true story.
And I think children in a classroom setting would be able to really connect with the character, knowing that this was happening at the same time.
Yes. And again, you know, it's perfect because it's, you know, if I was 12 and I'm reading about a 12-year-old, you know, it puts you right there. It's not just, you know, oh, the Underground Railroad or, you know, dates or anything else. I mean, it was real people. This happened to someone just like us. And that's another reason why I love historical fiction. Mm-hmm. And then the other one by Eliza is called Storm Warriors. And one of the reasons I like this book is for many years I had been living down in Virginia. And this takes place in Pea Island, which is part of the Outer Banks. And what, again, little known part of history that most of us don't know about in the post-Civil War era. The Storm Warriors were the men who went out to save people off the ships if they had a shipwreck. And they were African American that manned these crews off the Outer Banks, off the Pea Island station. And it's about a boy, Nathan, who wants to join, you know, the Storm Warriors. He thinks that would be really good, and his father isn't so keen on it.
When would we have heard about Storm Warriors?
If I hadn't seen this book, I would never have known about it. I mean, if she had not written this book, I would not have known. I lived down in Virginia for 17 years. I'd been up and down the Outer Banks, had never known that they even had a rescue station there in the late 1800s, much less that it was staffed by African Americans. And the book that got me started with Eliza Carbone, this was written first, but she came out with a book called Blood on the River about Jamestown for the 400th anniversary of Jamestown in 2007. And that was an absolutely wonderful book also. And then I started looking for other books by her. And I found this one. I was like, I had never heard of this part of the history.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. And again, it puts you right there. It's a boy about, like middle school age who is wanting to become one of these, courageous men. And his father's like, might not be so good because it's dangerous. But wonderful, wonderful book.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week with a couple of more picks. Are you thinking of any theme?
I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking what I've got and what I can find.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walsh. Joanne Walsh from the Hewitt School Library, and I'm Amy Boland from Boland's blog at School Library Journal. Thank you.